A FAM production for all things mattress. FAM.news.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Quinn, and I got two guys with me from Nationwide. We got Mike Whitaker and the Tom Hickman, the head of it all, chief member advocate. We just got done with the first Nationwide Leadership Conference here in Dallas, Texas. Stay tuned. We're going to come back and we're going to tell you all about it.
Welcome to the Dos Marcos Show with Mark Kinsley and Mark Quinn, where mattress and furniture leaders gather to grow, get the inside scoop, tell stories, and take tequila shots.
Uno, dos, tequila!
Welcome aboard. Here's your passport to a planet filled with the mattress industry's brightest minds and biggest ideas. Meet your guides.
I'm Mark Kinsley, President and CEO of Englander.
And I'm Mark Quinn, co-founder of Spink & Co. and VP of Sherwood Bedding.
Together, they are Dos Marcos.
The galaxy's greatest mattress podcast has liftoff in 3, 2, 1.
Whitaker, what a day, right? We got done. We gave our keynote today, and we have these really cool shirts on.
We have great shirts on.
So what happened was we gave the leadership conference keynote this morning, and we got these cool FAM t-shirts. So the idea was that when people came up to us, they could scan the QR code, and then they could get a free version of the audio book, Come Back to Bed. And what are your thoughts? Like, how do you think that went?
So first of all, I think it's a really exciting day. This is a first time we've gotten to co-lead a keynote, and it's our second time co-hosting the Dos Marcos podcast without our own dear, lovely Mark Kinsley. We should probably talk about that really quick. Kinsley's not here. Where's he at and why?
He's in. This is Mark Kinsley. Look at him. Mark, you grew a beard so quickly. But his hair is like legit.
The hair is
as
legit.
good as
That is
Kinsley's. I'm
Kinsley-esque
sorry,
hair.
Kinsley. He's out. He's on a vacation, man. He's on the islands and he's with his wife, so he's getting some good time. You did invoke his name today, I have to say, Kinsley.
We did, because
Whitaker
Kinsley,
brought you up.
we will always bring you into this. And today we had to talk about your passion for flying your flag, and a lot of fun that we had there. So let's talk really briefly about concept and execution. So a lot of times we have great concepts. We're not afraid to fail. And Mark had a wonderful concept, and that was to wear these great t-shirts. As we did the keynote, with the idea of being at the end, you come up, you scan the QR code, you're going to snag a free copy of the audiobook. It sounded really, really fun when we talked about it. But if you've ever had a room with about 300 folks, you end a keynote and everybody sort of comes to the front of the room, phone in hand, and you are then, as we asked at the bottom, you are being scanned gently. It's a unique experience, and I'm going to go ahead and say I am proud of your willingness to fail.
Well, I don't think it was a fail. I think people thought it was clever. And it was weird, though, as they're like taking this camera and like scanning your body. I'm like, okay, look, the QR code's up here, ladies.
It's up here.
It's up here, ladies. Just come on. No, I thought it was funny. Before we get into it, we're going to talk to Tom Hickman about his take. A lot of his members are here. He's so proud and he's so happy, and I can't wait to get into it with him. But Mike, I want to talk about door counts for a second, because a lot of these retailers here, and I had a conversation with a couple of them, all raving about door counts because it costs a lot of money to get people into your door. You need to be able to max out your conversion rate. So it's really important. Not only do the people at door counts help you measure traffic to your websites or into your stores, they also help you in selling process, right? So they help you and your salespeople be accountable for close rates and be accountable for follow-up and living out the whole experience from when they leave, but not just when they get interest, but when they leave and when they go home. And I love that. So door counts people, love you guys. We talked about you today. So anyway, doorcounts.com, go check them out, sign up, and Jerry will take great care of you and watch your conversion rates grow, therefore making every single trip to your store valuable to your business. So Whitaker, Nationwide, you guys are a big sponsor of the show. So let's jump into what you guys did here in Dallas, Texas, and then I'll let you introduce your boss here, Tom.
Fantastic. So Mark, thank you. We are in our first of 4 regional meetings all across the country as we get that opportunity to lead the independent channel back into face-to-face, get in a room together. Let's solve problems. Let's jump in and share ideas. Let's establish the new best practices, and let's get into this new world that we're in, where we're able to do things like come back together. So this morning, the keynote We had a fun topic there. The topic was, I think I'm okay. And we're joined today by a guy who right now is feeling way more than just okay. I would say he's almost borderline giddy.
Yeah.
We have Nationwide's chief member advocate making his first appearance here on the Dose Marcos
That is so
podcast.
true. It's been too long. Tom, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So what did you, so just being with your members, I know you're so connected to them, Tom, and I just saw the look in your eye and during our conversation how happy you are to be here and have this collection of people together.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously been interacting with the members, since March of last year, in a lot of different ways. But face to face is just so different. I mean, I would tell you the first thing I've seen more smiles, and that's not a mask comment in any way, shape, or form. It's literally an energy comment. I mean, just people smiling, and I think they're so happy to interact. I mean, they've been interacting with the public, they've been interacting with their customers, but peer-to-peer interaction so much different, and it's been fantastic for us to see the people that we know and love and we serve every day. It's been great. I mean, the energy level here is super high. Makes me incredible. I know we're going to talk about Nashville in a second, but it just gets me really geeked for Nashville because I know we're going to be on a 7-day high while we're there. If this is 2 days, I want to ride the 7-day high.
No doubt. And talking about the people here, like what are people saying to you? Do you feel a little bit like there's this release or this relief, maybe that it's like they're finally able to get out of their store? These guys have not had it easy, right? I mean, they've been taking phone calls from customers that can't get deliveries on products because they're not being made or not in the pipeline. So it's been tough for these guys. So for them to get out, this has been important for them.
Yeah, I don't want to drop Dickens here, but I mean, it really is kind of the best of times and the worst of times, right?
Yeah, right.
They have more demand they can deal with, but they've also taken, these folks and their frontline salespeople are taking an unbelievable amount of calls just because of what's going on in all channels of the business and inventory, right? And I won't get into all that, but what I'm feeling is I had my own, there was a time of uncertainty. I didn't know what it was going to be like the first time I was back face to face with members. I kind of had dreamed it up and had all these scenarios in my head. But I think they've done the same thing, right? They've been inside their towns, inside their four walls of their stores or the distribution center, and they're interacting with the public, but they're not interacting with their peers. They're not interacting with us. And this is more of a free environment where they can, there's a little bit of catharsis going on here. There's a little bit of, oh my God, I'm so happy to see my family going on here. There's a little bit of commonality around, hey, I'm not alone in this. I mean, you got, the same problem, same challenge. It's always been that way, but this is a pretty unique time where for 16 months, they haven't been able to kind of spend time with each other and talk about what's going on. And so I feel it's just a lot of energy. I was telling Mike, I'm seeing more people heavily engage each other because I think there's also part of it is like, I don't know when this is going to happen again. We know when it's going to happen again, and we know, but this is almost unreal to some of these folks that they're actually out in so like, it's good to be seen in the wild. I heard some people say, I'm out in the wild, like they've escaped something, and it feels that way a little bit, but the energy level here is just super high. And I know there are no shortage of challenges right now at retail, and they're talking through those. We're talking a lot about those in these breakout sessions. But man, just feeding off of each other, and they're just happy to see each other. I mean,
so
even people that are competing, with each other inside, some of these towns I just feel a different level of engagement, and I know that's going to carry over. And so I hope that carries us over long term, right? That friendliness.
Yeah. What sticks?
Yeah,
right. I'm with you.
So yeah.
Well, and Tom, you're chomping at the bit, so we're going to cut you loose, and we're going to let you do this. Now, we still have 3 more of these regional events coming up. We're still going to go to Seattle. We're still going to Orlando. We're still going to St. Louis.
That's right.
But we're also right about 80 days from what we believe could be a pretty big gathering down in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Tell us what your initial thoughts are on primetime, where you've taken the team from a planning standpoint, and some idea of what to expect as we have our first primetime in 18 months.
Yeah, I was doing okay till you said 80 days because it felt like we had more time.
I was going to say, you're like going to freak him out because he's like,
countdown timer is.
Yeah.
So here's what I know. I know whatever we're feeling here is going to be amplified by thousands, right? Because we'll have thousands of retailers there. And then the other side of that equation, which is incredibly unique, is we're starting to have a lot more vendor interaction. And that same kind of pulsating desire to be together is happening on our vendor side as well, right? So all of our manufacturer partners are dying to see these customers that they haven't been able to see, haven't been able to get to, all in one place. And then, we like to have a good time too, right? So you add, 2 constituencies that want to see each other, that need to see each other to create commerce, add all of our business services partners in on that, add a a company that likes to embrace fun and unique things. And I think we're going to just kind of blow the top off of Nashville a little bit. And I know it will be unique, not just because it's our 50-year anniversary, but it's going to be unique, I think, in a bunch of different ways. And so we're going to embrace it. We're going to embrace it hard, and we're going to go pretty hard at it and do some things that we maybe wouldn't normally do at a prime time.
You know, I heard you guys talking about that actually, and some of the plans that they have for retailers that are going to be there. Very exciting. I'm really fired up. I can't wait to be there. So, Tom, what are you hearing from the retailers that are here? Like, what are they needing like right now? Like, we're like the kind of the phase that they're in. They were in the phase where the demand and the spike was so heavy, so they were kind of past that little part of it, but they're still in it. Like, what are retailers needing right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what I'm hearing is learnings, right? What did you learn? What did I learn? Right. Pretty unique times, and to create an environment where they can share all that. I mean, clearly service is an issue. Human capital is a big issue. The demand and supply curves still being out of whack is an issue. All those things are unique. And I almost think of it as thriving under duress, because there's some constant. Every time we think we're out of the woods from, in something in supply chain, chips, whatever, resin, polyurethane, something else comes our way. But there's this underlying current of other macro things that are happening with people, finding good people, finding anybody, finding people that fit your culture in this environment. Sometimes it's harder and sometimes it's easier, but thriving under duress is kind of how I look at it, right? Because there's something being thrown at independent retail every single day that they just aren't expecting. And so although they may have normalized understanding supply chain, and it's just going to be a little longer and setting those expectations with their customers, I feel this intent desire that they want to share what they've learned, because everybody's learned something different. Everybody's journey has been very, very different. And they want to know, A, that someone else was on that journey with them. B, they want to share some of their successes and understand some of their challenges, and maybe someone can help them figure out, solve one of those problems, whether it's, hey, what are you doing for people? Because I hear a lot about that right now. So, we're going to put them all in a room. There's not a problem. I don't think that's ever been happened at retail that our retailers can't solve if you put them together. And so I think we'll see an amazing amount of networking, but I know we're going to see a lot more smiles too. And I think that's probably what excites me most. I mean, there's people, members and vendors that we have relationships with, and we see them and they're hugging me, like, and they're hanging on just like an extra half second. Yeah. It's not quite weird hang on, but it's like, I get it. I haven't seen you either. And it's great to see some folks that we haven't seen in a long time. So I'm expecting a pretty big go around and a lot of learnings.
So will you hop on the record, go ahead and say this could very easily be the largest prime time to date in 50 years.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind that it will be our largest prime time ever.
So I'm going to take you a totally different direction for a second. So we've talked a lot about the return to live. There's a lot of excitement on that. But the one thing I don't want to miss, from the time that you became the president, chief member advocate of Nationwide Marketing Group, that's been, where are we at now? Almost 3 years, 4 years? It's been a while.
I'll have to defer to you. It feels like 3 days. It feels like 30 years. I don't know the exact
It's been a ride. But one of the things that you told us as an entire team coming in is we're going to talk less, listen more. We're going to have really big ears. We're going to keep our ears to what the members need. We're going to respond to that. And this organization, over those past 4 years or so, has radically evolved. We're hitting a milestone at 50 years, but the past 5 years have really seen so much evolution, so much change driven by those evolving needs of the dealers. One of those things that isn't taken lightly is the way we grow this team. The team's seen phenomenal growth in capabilities and in headcount. For you, if you'll look back for just a second, over these past 16 months, we've talked about a lot of things that have happened at retail. How would you define that evolution of Nationwide as a service organization? What are the things that you've seen happen that have enhanced our ability to stay connected to the dealers despite some challenges, to continue introducing brand new things like these regional meetings, like Service Leaders Network? How have you seen that evolution happen from your seat at Nationwide?
Yeah, you said a lot there, so let me just kind of unpack a little bit of it. I mean, the company's has been ever evolving for 50 years, right? Started as 7 guys trying to buy product together, right? And then, meeting the needs of retail when marketing became more important, and then technology became more important. And obviously where we sit today, I mean, look, there's no shortage of retail pain points. And so if you just listen, I mean, we'll be employed forever, right? Because the way it evolves. And so if you would have told me, 3 years ago or however long it was ago that we would have crisis management capability, I would have told you you were out of your mind. It would not have been something that we would have built. If we would have been actively reaching out to state governments on behalf of the channel and, hosting, webinars on how to apply for small business loans or PP, that just isn't something that was in my, I thought of a lot of things that we could do to help retail. That was not one of them. Right. And then you just have to listen. And so they will, our members will tell you what they need and tell you how we can leverage scale and expertise to build it. You just have to stop talking long enough to listen. They got a megaphone right now, right? I mean, there's, like I said, we talked about some of the challenges that are out there. So I don't hear, but service. I mean, service is a huge challenge right now, and so that was born out of just the frustration of independent retailers not being able to find parts where they were in the supply chain, not making money on it, not getting techs. And so, so the only thing in Nationwide we know how to do is if it's a problem, we go find the best that there is. We found bullets and we assemble a team to attack it. And we've already seen massive gains in just our service leader network. And then, they still want to get together. So, I mean, if you'd have told me we'd have had 2 completely virtual shows where we downloaded 30,000 hours of content was watched, probably told you you're out of your mind too, right? So there's just been, we have to evolve this mindset of an ever evolving company, right? We're different today than we were yesterday. You have to embrace that, and you have to get the members to embrace it because retail is very different than it was even, 6 months ago or 6 years ago. So our job's to be kind of just fluid, right? I think of this as a set of amoeba, like where's the problem? We'll go wrap ourselves around it and solve it as best we can and then provide it back to the membership.
So let's talk about that. Mike and I gave the keynote today. That was a lot of fun. Thanks again for you guys both letting me come be part of your group here. Because I get so much from coming and participating and listening to the retailers, because that's where you learn everything. But Tom, one of the things we talked about was change. And so for a lot of guys out there, change is not easy. It's tough. It's expensive. There's risk. Mm-hmm. So what I love about Nationwide is, number one, you and I have talked about this before, the servant's heart of the people that you have on your staff. But I think you guys are really a facilitator of change for your people, right? So if they don't have the answer, if they don't have the digital solution or the website, or they haven't done something before, you guys have done it with someone else, so you have the benefit of knowledge. So is that kind of how you see Nationwide? And right now, how important is change for these guys?
Yeah, and I don't want my previous comments to sound like we're a reactive organization.
Yeah,
right?
No.
We're not, right? Half of our job is looking around corners, right? And making investments where, before sometimes, or even before we realize it's an opportunity or a challenge to the market. So, look, when my family had a retail store, there was never 2 days that were the same. Mm-hmm. It just, what happened one day was not what happened the next day. We're not running factories. We're not in process. So we have to kind of adopt that same idea, right? And there's never been 2 days that have been the same for me at Nationwide. Mm-hmm. And so, waking up with a culture and a mindset of always innovating and taking, hitting curveballs and knowing that retail changes, our members do it intuitively. I don't know that they always are like, well, hey, what kind of change can I embrace today? Or what's coming around the corner? That's really our job in some cases, to get way in front of it, because we have the scale, we have the expertise, we have the opportunity. They know marketing is important. In some cases, they have fantastic marketing people. In some cases, they have no marketing people, right? And so whose job is that? That's on us, right? To make sure we have the best and the brightest in the business. And I don't care what the retail challenge is, it's going to change. You can put your head in the sand. You can be like, I don't like change. Oh, I love change, for both sides of the equation. It's happening in and around us. And our job is to solve it at scale with expertise for a channel that individually they're unbelievable what they do. But when you bring it together, I mean, we have more stores than Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, Costco combined, 3 times as many stores. So if we can all kind of go the same way, it's an incredibly powerful network.
And I love that. You guys have more stores than those big box guys as a combined unit. So
we have 14,000 locations, right?
It's amazing.
So I think about it as 14,000 communities, right? Mm-hmm. And so 14,000 communities that we have an opportunity to make a difference in. We have an opportunity to help those folks thrive and help make change in their environment and be there, right? Because you go back and a lot of people forget, in the height of this, a lot of big box shut down, right? Mm-hmm. We're not delivering. We'll drop it off at your door. Well, that didn't work in the communities and the markets where folks couldn't do that. And so I'm incredibly proud of what the network's done. And that was a change that we didn't see coming. We excelled. We got more share. We got more customers. Now it's our job to keep those customers and make sure that they understand that we provided a service that wasn't possible national accounts, and then make those customers our customers for life.
Well, and Tom, I love that you went down the road of community there. And it was
I'm so glad you're going here because I'm like, ask about. Okay, good. So
that was certainly a big topic here, a big topic this morning around that community inside Nationwide, that community of independent retailers. Now, I want to go a little different direction with you. You've made some calls with the leadership team over the past year and a half, as we went into crisis management mode, as we went into governmental advocacy mode, and as recently as when we hosted the industry's first Service Leaders Network conference to bring servicers together. There's been some areas where you've taken down that membership wall. Traditionally in this space, you're a member of a group and you have exclusive access to that group's asset. But there have been times you've taken those walls down and said, independent retailers of all shapes, stripes, no matter your group affiliation, you're welcome here. Can you tell us a little bit about the mindset behind making those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we have an obligation to help any retailer if we can at all. I don't care about industry. I really don't care about business that you're in. If we have the capability, we have an obligation. So even if it's just thought leadership or, hey, what are you seeing? But there's some certain things that to me are universal and are outside or systemic, right? Industry-wide challenges. And so we're ever more tackling those bigger problems. This isn't buying group on buying group competitiveness, right? This is industry, like human assets, service, things like that. I think education is one of those, we could never, it's hard to out-educate the technology curve that's coming. So some of those things, we just made a conscious choice and said, okay, we're going to do something a little bit different here and make sure this is available to everyone. And it is a departure a little bit from what we've traditionally done. It's a very thought out process, but more of it just comes from, candidly, it came from COVID. And I don't think there's a saying, crisis creates character. I think crisis actually, shows character. Right. Sure. And so it kind of reveals character. And so we had some tough conversations when we sat down and said, hey, we're making this investment and in order to have this law firm to kind of decipher. And we just said, well, if our dealers are having this problem, then all dealers are having this problem, right? Mm-hmm. There isn't anything that's not universal when there's universal kind of challenges. And so that was kind of the first time of us opening up the book a little bit on, we have a broader purpose here. And so, I mean, we had, 800 retailers, and some of those weren't even in our channel. Sure. They were just independent entrepreneurs that were struggling to find a path to some help. And so that opened our eyes. I don't know that we probably needed a global crisis to do that. We probably should have figured that out on our own. We got some smart people, but it was apparent to us that there is a broader purpose on some of these bigger initiatives that we have to help the whole channel survive. Because if we just try to carve out our own, I mean, we got a big channel, 5,000 retailers. We talked about the size of the business, but we need everybody to do well.
You guys, I know you have a meeting to get to, so we're going to cut this short. But guys, I just want to thank you again on behalf of Kinsley and I, because the stuff we get to do with you guys means a lot to us. We learn from it, and then we can share a lot of that, what we learn in this format and to our audience. So thanks for that. And, Mike and I talked about Tom family. So I hope if you're listening to this and you're in one of the markets where we're going to do nationwide leadership, either Seattle, Orlando, or St. Louis, please come out, because we talked about some really interesting stuff today. One of them was family. Yeah. And so, when you go through crisis, when you have issues, you can always lean on your family. And I'm going to tell you, if you're not part of Nationwide, they have a family. The family was here. And to be with this family was awesome for me. And I appreciate both of you guys. So thank you. Appreciate you taking time with us.
Yeah. And I would just tell you, we appreciate the platform. There's not a lot of places that you can get online and you can get as much information as you want about Amazon and Best Buy and Home Depot. The independent channel is an incredibly powerful voice, but it doesn't always have a platform. So I want to thank you for the platform.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We'd like to champion them, right?
Listen, you are part of this family. We've officially adopted you. Well, tell Kinsley it's TBD. We're going to wait for him to get back from the islands, and we'll make a decision on that.
Well, thank you, Kinsley. Thank you, Kinsley, for showing up with us today.
Not a problem. All right, we'll leave a thought on that. We do have a plan, though.
We do.
So we did talk about the execution on Scan Me Gently. Mm-hmm. Here's where we failed. Kinsley is the guy who is forever on the mountain bikes, forever working out, and with the forever flat abs. Mm-hmm. We're going to go ahead and start putting QR codes on him. We've also had a thought. We may get one for Tom. And he's not known for T-shirts. Tom's more of a sport coat guy. Yeah. So what I'm thinking, at Primetime in Nashville, we may have a QR code on your back where you can sign up for that next primetime, that next event. And I would say, talking to Melissa Stenson, the member experience team, innovations like this, new introductions like these regional meetings, these are not over, right? These are part of the future.
I would tell you, if the measure is whoever gets the most scans, Kinsley's going to kill you.
Yeah, we're done. We're done for it.
Well, the problem is our bellies are distorting the QR
Yes,
code
QR
and they
code's a
don't
little
work.
crooked.
So-
There's a little curve there.
I'm not talking about the strategy. I'm just talking about the results. If it's you guys, I got my money on Kinsley versus both of you.
Now, hold on. We give him the white QR code on the white T-shirt.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then we'll take that
And
challenge.
for the record, that's hurtful.
Yeah,
And with that, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. More later.